Right now, Florida Senator and 2016 GOP presidential candidate Marco Rubio goes on the record from New Hampshire. Good evening, Senator.
Good evening.
Senator, first on the issue of climate change, do you believe that the climate change is a result of man-made, or is it man-made in any way?
Well, first of all, the climate changing has always been changing. There's never been a time when the climate hasn't been changing. And what percentage of that is due to man's activity is not something there's a consensus on. There's 90-something% of scientists that say that man-made activity. Well, I'm not, again, I'm a policymaker, and my job is to go through the different solutions that they present to us. And I can tell you that all the changes they're presenting to us would do nothing, even according to the scientists, would do nothing to change our climate, especially in the United States, but would have a dramatic impact on our economy. So as a policymaker, I refuse to support initiatives that will do nothing to impact the environment or the climate, but would have a devastating impact on our economy.
So that I understand correctly, if you had sufficient information presented to you to show that climate change exists and it's a result of something that man is doing, or women are doing, whatever, is that you would perhaps have a different view, your policy would be different?
Yeah, but scientists have already said that in terms of climate sensitivity, there is not a global consensus on that. And even now there's a dispute about what the target should be. The target being set by some is 2 degrees Celsius, a change, that they think that if there were 2 more degrees in warming, that would somehow trigger some terrible global impact. But there are now scientists saying that's basically an arbitrary number. There's no science behind it. It's just an easy-to-define political goal. That's what's so nebulous about this whole debate. Meanwhile, as a policymaker, I'm being presented with options that will have a real impact on our economy, and it will have an impact immediately in making America uncompetitive. I don't support anything that will make America uncompetitive, especially if it doesn't have any sort of environmental benefit on the backside of it.
Do you disagree with the president saying that it's very important to future generations?
Well, that's not what he's saying. What he's saying is that it's the greatest threat facing future generations, and that I don't agree with. I think the greatest threat facing future generations domestically is a $19 trillion debt for which there is no answer in place, and a national security apparatus in this country that continues to deteriorate at a time when the world is growing more dangerous, whether it's radical jihadists or Russia or China or North Korea or Iran's nuclear ambitions. The world is growing increasingly dangerous, and we are going to be cutting $1 trillion out of our Defense Department, and we, including some Republicans, have voted to weaken our intelligence gathering capabilities.
Over the weekend, Senator Ted Cruz has accused you of attempting to mislead voters in an effort to slow down conservatives coming together for Senator Cruz. He said that in Iowa, and it's in reference to a super PAC ad. Do you have a response to Senator Cruz?
Well, I don't have anything to do with those groups. I can tell you my position, and that is that I stand strongly on behalf of the ability of this government to gather intelligence on our adversaries and our enemies, especially terrorists, but other nation states. Those keep us safer. And there are Republicans, including Senator Cruz, that have voted to weaken those programs. That's just a part of the record. It's nothing personal. And the fact of the matter is that today we do not know as much as we once did about potential adversaries, partially due to the disclosures made by a traitor named Edward Snowden, and part of it due to presidential directives and even this law that was recently passed that has canceled the metadata collection program, which means that if, God forbid, there were a terrorist attack in America tomorrow, we would not be able to gather the phone records of individuals that might be part of that plot in a time-effective way.
All right. Well, when you criticized him for not supporting, or the super PAC for not supporting the law, which now allows bulk data not to be collected, he fired back and said that you're for amnesty. Now he's going after you for amnesty.
Well, Senator Cruz's position on immigration is not much different than mine. He has supported in the past and has said he's still open to supporting legalizing people that are in this country illegally. What I've tried to do is find a reasonable solution to a very serious problem that continues to plague us, and it's very clear we can't do that in a comprehensive bill. But that in no way takes away from the fundamental argument that today our intelligence gathering capabilities have been weakened by both presidential directives, the disclosures made by a traitor, and also a law that was passed that unfortunately some Republicans supported.
Senator Rubio, you said you were talking to some pastors, said you'd never change your position on traditional marriage and on life. What do you do if you're elected president and your personal views are in conflict with what may be the law?
Well, we have a way in this country to change laws we don't agree with. It's called, whether it's the court system issuing a new precedent that overrules an old precedent, or passing laws in this country. What I've said is that if some individual is ordered by, compelled by government to violate something that violates their personal conscience, they should not be forced by law to do that. For example, no one should be forced to preside over a same-sex marriage if it violates their faith. And I'm not sure many people are arguing they should be forced to do that. But we live in a country where we have freedom and a republic, and where we are able to change existing laws, whether it's the court systems ruling differently in the future or being able to pass laws in the case of other matters.
Senator, thank you for joining us, and enjoy New Hampshire. I know that you're spending a lot of time there, as in Iowa, too. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.